Are we live? I see everybody. All right, looks like we're live. Let me switch back over to this because it's a little bit easier. All right. Welcome, everyone, to Diversity in Tech, why you should speak at Developers at Dreamforce 2014. Apologies for the late start, but here we are, and we want to get through helping you understand what the process is and some advice from folks who've been there. So today, I'm Mary Scotton, Developer Evangelist at Salesforce.com, and I am joined by some leaders in our community. Geraldine Gray. Hi, Geraldine. Where are you?
I'm on the Dingle Peninsula in Ireland on vacation with my mad Irish family.
Fantastic. Also, Carolina Ruiz Media. Where are you, Carolina?
Hello. I am in Spain at this moment. With my family too.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us. And Angela, tell us where you are.
I'm in the exotic location of Portland, Oregon.
Fantastic. Is it raining?
No, it's not. We have sun. We have sun.
Great. All right. Well, I'm super excited to have the three of you join me today. I think it's a really important topic. As a developer evangelist, it's part of my job to educate and enable administrators and developers building on the Salesforce One platform. And as part of that role, it's my responsibility to make sure that the developer track at Dreamforce is totally awesome. What I noticed last year was that the number of submissions coming in from women was pretty low, and I don't even have any data about submissions coming in from underrepresented minorities. But I do have data showing that women, minorities, and persons with disabilities are underrepresented in the U.S. technology industry as a whole, and really nowhere is that more visible than at technology conferences. So we want to see more diversity of all kinds on stage at Dreamforce, which is one of the largest tech conferences in the world. So this Hangout is to talk about why we want you, the listeners, to submit your awesome session ideas. So we're going to talk for a little bit, and then we're going to open it up to questions. You can put them in that chat window. So last year, the developer relations team worked with one of our internal affinity groups, Women in Technology, to create a space in the devzone for women to meet and to network. And I also know that another one of our affinity groups, Outforce, hosted our third annual LGBTA Dreamforce party. Now, I know about these because those are the two minority groups that I fall into. But that's just me. And as I dig deeper into who's underrepresented in tech, I realize it's not just women, it's not just lesbians. There are an awful lot of people who are underrepresented in tech. And I really am reaching out to everybody today to say, let's bring diversity to the conference. It's super important. And I find that we do tend to kind of stay within our separate groups, and I'm working to build bridges across those groups. One of the most powerful things I've done to do that is I attended Startup Weekend Oakland, Black Male Achievement. And at that event, I felt the power of an intentionally diverse community. Don't know if you've ever been to Oakland. It is a melting pot. It's super diverse, and this event was welcoming and fantastically diverse. I was really blown away, and I want to see that energy in the dev zone. So I want us to work together to make tech a more diverse workforce. I wanted to put this out there, I've diversified my feed. Right? I've started following Yes We Code and Blacks in Technology, and by doing that, I now see new events, new opportunities, and I hear new voices. So it's making me want to hear new voices in the dev zone this year. So I'm hoping that you all will share your voice. That's kind of my story about why it's important to me, and probably what you came to hear was, well, all right, Mary, I'm in. What do I need to do? And so let's get practical and take a look at what the submission process looks like. So here are some examples of the session abstract. To me, that's the meat of the submission and the hardest part, right? What am I going to write in this proposed session abstract? So I think about it as a developer. I'm a copy-paste developer, right? I like to start with sample code that's working and then tweak it. So that's what I recommend you do for the proposed session abstract. So here are some examples, and what I want you to see here, not that I'm in the first one, but that the length of each one. You know, they are 3 or 4 sentences long, and they all follow a similar structure. Who, what, why. Right? Often they're starting with a question or an assertion, and you want to convey who's the target audience, what are they going to learn from your session, and why would they want to come. All right? And you don't need to be super specific. You know, it's called an abstract for a reason, right? This conference is months from now. You have not written your talk. You really don't know what you're going to talk about. But you should know who you're targeting. You want to give a sense of what you're going to do. We will give you examples of X. We'll dig deep into the code about Y, right? And then why people should attend. So, you know, what are they going to learn? Are they going to come out of it an expert? Are they going to come out of it inspired? You know, talk about that. And what I want to do now is jump over to that URL, which is our Dreamforce landing page on the developer.salesforce site. So this is where you want to start. This is where you register, right? You say, I'm in. This is where you go to read about the call for presentations and see all the deadlines. And here are the resources that from last year that you can take a look at to copy and paste from. So let's look at those. I have that open here. You need to scroll down halfway down the recap page and you'll see the list of the sessions. And so you can see here, this developer's guide to visual workflow. You know, I borrowed this particular abstract in order to show you the following example. You can also watch the videos and look at the slides, so get a sense of, you know, what the sessions were like last year. Woo! Scrolling. But what I want to do quickly is walk through the actual submission process. So when you click on yes, I'm ready to submit my call for presentations, you will land on this page and you can watch this fantastic video and click here. So I've already filled this in, so you don't have to watch me type, which is a great presentation trick, by the way. So you put in your contact information. Hopefully you know all of this. This part's not intimidating. This part you steal from your Twitter bio. If you don't have a Twitter bio, steal it from your LinkedIn bio. If you don't have a LinkedIn bio, steal it from your developer community bio. If you don't have one of those, come on, write one. So tell us who you are, but it doesn't have to be super detailed. The session title, this is going to change, right? This does not have to be perfect. We scrub these before we actually go to print. So, you know, but try to be somewhat compelling. Tell us what you're going to do. And then here is the meat, the session abstract. So what I did to write this was I copied the visual workflow one. It starts with a question. Why should you give an awesome devzone presentation? To share your story. So join us as we explain how to submit a proposal and what makes a good proposal. Through real-life speaker examples, we'll help you take the first step to presenting in the devzone. Right? You want it to be compelling. You want it to, you know, be friendly, and you want it to tell what's going to happen, right? And so I made that one up, but you can see where I'm going. And then what topic area? And these are pretty general, and we are still forming our different tracks. And so I added one here. There's a little section down here for other. I said, it's my diversity session. All right, so feel free to say what you want, or if it doesn't fit into one of these topics. And then you want to say what experience, right? And these are multi-select. And, you know, my session happens to apply to everyone, but if you're doing, you know, a deep dive, you want to grab experienced developers, you know, just tell us what you think. Again, this is going to be scrubbed and changed later. And then if you pick, you know, if you're not the only speaker, hit yes. It's going to ask you about their contact information. So I'm going to say no. And then, you know, what else you want to know. And this, again, you can elaborate. Say, hey, you know, and this is personal, right? So why do I want to do this talk, right? I personally have challenges when writing proposals for conferences, and so I want to share my experience and make the way easier for others, right? Maybe it's a little personal. Tell us a little bit about yourself. That's it. hit this big button here, hit submit, and you're totally in. So that is my very quick overview of the process. And again, we'll be taking questions. And now I'm going to stop sharing my screen and open it up to our guests and figure out there. Whew. So first, let's start with Geraldine. You spoke at Dreamforce last year. Tell me your experiences and tell me, why you think the folks on the call should present at Dreamforce or submit their proposal.
So last year was the first year I spoke in the devzone. I was very intimidated. I thought I wasn't going to be clever enough. I didn't think that people would actually sign up for my session and want to come and hear what I said, so it was very exciting. I was in the theatre, so it was a little bit like standing on a milk crate in an airport and just hoping that people will listen to you, but it was a really great session. I was very lucky. It was a sponsored session by Nelson Technology, so it was kind of special. It was more about how to hire talent than it was about a developer track. But this year we are submitting a session to the devzone, and if you pick us, then which is Endium, if you pick Endium, you will learn about, you'll get 2 for 1. You'll get Women in Tech, and you'll get my business partner Greg, who's gay, and he's really the engine driver on the project. We're going to be talking about how to do an org merge, which is not just one company's data and metadata into one org, but we're doing 2 companies, 2 Salesforce companies into one Salesforce org.
All right. Not that I'm the one picking, because I'm not, luckily. So I get to do all the encouraging. But Geraldine, that sounds like a great session. I know org merges are something that a lot of companies are dealing with. So again, you want to think about it in those terms. What is broadly interesting to a lot of companies, and what's my unique take on that, and what story can I tell about it, and what tips can I give? So thanks, Geraldine. Carolina, how about you? Last year was your first time speaking at Dreamforce, right?
Yes, it was. It was my first time speaking in Dreamforce, my first time in America. Everything was, oh my God, I'm going to be there. I'm so scary. I was so nervous. But the thing is, when I was sitting in a pub with my friend, because I did 3 sessions, but there was the one that I think I most enjoyed was the first one, because was to explain the others what was our problem, our day-by-day as a developers, what are the things that we find. And we decided to do it because, well, we were drinking and we say, yes, we need to explain our story, we need to explain our suffering, when you drink and these things. And yeah, we were sitting and we have this idea and we say, yeah, let's share with the other people. Maybe other developers are passing through this way, they are going to recognize this path, these steps. Why not to share with them? And we decided to put our idea through. They got us, we went there, we explained it, and really it was great. I was so nervous at the beginning, but then you enjoy the experience. You can see how the people is listening. Some others, how, oh my God, he's going to ask me something. I don't know if I'm going to answer it, but it's fine. And at the end, you are able to share the problems that you have, also the solutions that you find, and maybe help others. And this year, yeah, I have some ideas there that I will put through. I'm scared again, any talk is scary, but as a matter, I will try to do it and take advantage of it and explain with excitement. And yes, I will try to explain and put ideas through this year about some issues that I was finding in development and during this year about batch jobs or maybe communities. And maybe I have a surprise. I will go through a session with some friends too. But let's see.
All right, so the deadline is June 6th, right? So, we're counting down right after this call. Right after this call, I want you to work on that, right? Copy, paste, tweak. All right, how about you, Angela? Tell us about your experience.
Yeah, you're thinking, no pressure, no pressure. Last year I did not speak, but I spoke the 3 years before that, all on the mobile platform in the theater, and then 2 in sessions in, I think with a Hero Theater, a few different varieties. And yes, like Carolina said, it's definitely scary, but it was kind of a goal after I spoke at the first one. My goal was to be invited back to speak at another one because in my experience, Salesforce was just really good to work with. You're not abandoned. They walk you through the process. So it was, while scary, it was a great growth experience, and you learn a lot from it. I think one of the benefits is we all think that our orgs are kind of boring. We've got code that we want to hide. We've got processes that, gosh, we just die if somebody else saw. But we're all like that, and we can all learn from somebody else. While we think our work might be boring and we think everybody else's org is more exciting, our org is exciting. What we do is exciting to somebody else, and it's a neat opportunity to share that. If you've tripped and stumbled, share it with somebody else so that they can not trip and stumble. They can find their own mistakes and learn something different. So it's just a fantastic opportunity to share some of the cool stuff that you're doing, and it is cool.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Angela. Yeah, people want to hear your pain and suffering, and they want to, on the other end of that, hear about your successes.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what makes a really good session. So great. We're about 20 minutes in, so I want to open it up to questions. I don't see any questions in the chat window. So folks we have on the call, does anybody have any questions?
I would give a tip for when you're thinking about what you want to present. And I'd say if I was going to Dreamforce a year before, what would I have wanted to learn for my next year? So what have you done in the last year that you wish you'd known about beforehand? If you can do that, then you can really help people think about what's going to help them. This is my girly geek. Okay, start them young. This is my niece. She's on vacation with us. So,
Great.
good morning, Mustafa.
No, Geraldine, that's great advice, because I do think that, and maybe if you haven't been to Dreamforce before, you don't realize there is the whole range of experience. So there are people at Dreamforce who turned Salesforce on 5 minutes ago, people who signed a contract with Salesforce 5 minutes ago, people who haven't used Salesforce at all, and people who have used Salesforce for 10 years. So you can hit that newbie audience. You can hit the intermediate audience, which I think is one that is underserved, because you want those. What are those next steps? What are those tips? And then if there's a really experienced audience out there. So if there's something super tricky that you're doing that you want to combine a few technologies together, I expect Internet of Things and connected devices to be pretty hot this year. So connect a few things together, another service, really get into the details. There's an audience for that too.
And Mary, I have something I'd like to add.
Go.
Okay, I'll go first. My presentations were generally centered around demos, which is obviously scary because something could happen with the connection. But I always co-presented, which was nice. So there was a partner that was up there with me. We went through the practices together. If I froze, my partner could pick it up. So I encourage people to think about that. If you're scared but maybe interested, see if there's somebody else in maybe your user group or your developer group or at your own company, and make the pitch with them, and have another partner up on stage to share the glory with.
That's great advice. Yeah. My favorite presentations were Eric Wilson and Adam Torman together, right? Because you get the banter, you get that interaction. I didn't see Carolina's presentation, but I'm guessing she's presenting with a drinking buddy. There's going to be some personal stuff in there, and so I think that really does make the session more fun for everybody. Carolina, what were you going to suggest?
I was going to say that maybe it sounds a little bit scary or too much to say I'm going to San Francisco, I'm going to Dreamforce, and you're going to do a talk, and you're afraid to do mistakes. And don't worry about mistakes. Go with the flow and try to not panic, because at the end of the day, what you need to think is you need to enjoy that, and you need to share only what you know and what you are passing through. Then don't be so scary. And what I usually is, I don't write the speeches, right? I do it on the way, and I try to imagine how I would like to know the things, how I would like to other people to tell me the things. Then basically it's something informal, it's something that is going to help others, and no panic. Don't panic. Level is don't panic books.
That's great advice, and I think it also ties into that our developer community is really friendly. There aren't people in the audience who are out there trying to ask you some super hard question and make you look bad. They're there to learn. Everyone's super passionate about the platform, and they just want to talk to other people about the platform. They're just, you know, dying to you know, talk to you, and you have that experience, and I want to hear more. And so those conversations in the dev zone or after the sessions, you know, it's a super friendly audience. So I think that's important to share. I don't recommend Carolina's approach of just not even thinking about what you're going to say until right before. And I will just take it back to how there is a really strict process that we go through, that we hold your hand through, where you know, you've written your abstract, then you write a session plan that outlines, Carolina, maybe you remember this, outlines, you know, what you're going to talk about. Then you have a slide deck that we're going to review. We love demos and code, right? Developers want to see code. And so we go through that. And then we have a dry run. And if we have to have a second dry run, we do that. So until you're comfortable, you know, going through the whole story and making it smooth. So we really do hold your hand through the process, or you could just wing it.
That's
you know.
true.
Either way. Geraldine, I'm guessing you might wing it sometimes. Geraldine, do you want to tell us how you wing it, or I see you're on mute?
Oh. She has too many gigs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have my these are my future go to geeks.
All right.
My 5-year-old nieces. They are learning how Auntie Geraldine wings it on presentations. So what I like to do is I like to stand up and practice. And I practice about I just practice and I go with the flow and on the day. But I really think about what I'm going to say, and if I don't get everything in, that's okay, right? And I recognize that my story, when I'm presenting, might change a little bit from one time to another. And then if I get joined on stage by a couple of 5-year-olds, like, whatever, that's fine too. Okay?
Yeah.
Just go with the flow.
All right. And just have fun. Well, great. I really appreciate everybody sharing their stories. Looks like we don't have any questions, but the session is being recorded, so we might get some questions on the YouTube or on the Hangout. So I will keep an eye out for that. And thanks again, everybody, especially taking the time from your visits with your families, and Angela from work. So with that, I don't see any more questions. So I'm gonna say ciao.
Hasta luego.
There you go.
Bye.
See you at Dreamforce.